The Mercedes-Benz Unimog is one of the most versatile and unusual machines ever built. Part tractor, part truck, part military vehicle and part tool carrier, it has earned legendary status around the world for its incredible off-road ability and unique engineering. But the story of the Unimog itself is just as fascinating as the machine. The idea for the Unimog emerged during the closing stages of the Second World War, with development beginning shortly afterwards in 1945. In an uncertain, the aftermath of the war, Germany's industrial future appeared limited, and a group of former Daimler-Benz aircraft engine engineers began imagining a vehicle suited to agricultural reconstruction. And Albert Friedrich was the man who dreamt up the idea, and Heinrich Robler, I think it was the engineer. So if there are any German phrases or German words in this story that I pronounce wrong, I do apologize. My German would not be the best. Anyway, it's great to be back. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. We're back in post-World War II Germany when the country was trying to rebuild itself, and of course agriculture was number one on the priority list. With all these empty factories, all this tooling, all these machines that were left over, they had to be put to good use. And of course, building agricultural equipment was the number one target at the time. So I'm not going to waffle on too long. Going to get straight into it, and I hope you enjoyed the story. If you're into your MBs or your MB-tracs, your Unimogs, I do have a video. I will leave a link on the MB-trac at the end of this video, so you can click on it when this video is over if you want to continue watching the story of the Mercedes-Benz. Anyway, the idea for it was simple but revolutionary. Create a universal motorized machine that could work in fields just like a tractor, power machinery like a stationary engine, and still, travel relatively quickly on roads, something like a truck. The name Unimog comes from the German word Universal Motor Gerät, which roughly translates to universal motor machine. Unlike traditional tractors of the time, the Unimog was designed with 4 equal-sized wheels, high ground clearance and suspension on all 4 corners. Early tractors were slow, uncomfortable and mainly confined to fields, but the Unimog was intended to travel efficiently on roads while still being highly capable off-road. At a time when many tractors crawled slowly through fields, the Unimog could travel at speeds approaching 50 kilometers an hour on the road, and that's an incredible figure for the 1940s. Series production began in 1948 at a company called Boehringer in Göppingen, with the first customer vehicles being delivered in 1949. The early machines, they were small, simple and mainly aimed at agriculture. They produced something around 25 horsepower and featured a canvas roof rather than a fully enclosed cab. Even in these early days, the Unimog already had many of the features that would define it for decades to come. Not surprisingly, demand quickly grew, and by 1951, Mercedes-Benz completely took over production. Manufacturing moved to the Gaggenau plant in Germany, and the Unimog became part of the Mercedes-Benz family. So the Gaggenau plant today in Germany, there's no actual vehicles built there, so it is mainly for the production of transmissions, axles, torque converters, things that go into trucks, and of course the Unimog today, and various off-road machines that would be used, trucks mainly. So interestingly, the famous 3-pointed Mercedes star did not appear on the vehicle until 1943. Before that, the Unimog carried a bull head from the logo from Boehringer. What made the Unimog so different from anything else was its engineering. At the heart of the vehicle was the flexible ladder frame chassis. Most vehicles were built to be rigid, but the Unimog frame was designed to flex over rough ground. Combined with portal axles, this gave the vehicle enormous ground clearance without needing huge wheels. Portal axles are one of the Unimog's defining features. On a normal axle, the wheel center lines up with the center of the axle. On a portal axle, the axle sits higher than the center of the wheel hub through the use of reduction gears. This means that the entire driveline is lifted higher up off the ground, allowing the vehicle to climb over rocks, ruts and obstacles that would stop stationary vehicles. And portal axles, anyone who would be in the tillage end of things, that would be used to seeing self-propelled sprayers. A lot of self-propelled sprayers would use portal axles that would give them that clearance up off the ground that the crop could just flow underneath the sprayer without getting damaged by axles or wheel hubs or differentials as such when it'd be driving over the crop, especially one that might be in really tall crops like oilseed rape or something like that. Another interesting feature was the suspension. While most trucks used leaf springs, the Unimog used coil springs with torque tubes and long suspension travel. This allowed the enormous axle to articulate over rough terrain. The flexible frame and suspension system allowed for four wheels to stay in contact with the ground in conditions where many vehicles would lose traction completely. The vehicle also featured selectable four-wheel drive, differential locks and extremely low crawler gears. Yet despite all of its off-road capability, it could still travel at respectable road speeds. That combination was almost unheard of at the time. The early Unimogs were heavily focused on farming. They were narrow enough to drive between rows of crops and could operate all kinds of machinery, through power takeoffs and its hydraulic systems. Farmers could attach mowers, saws, harvesters, snowblowers and countless other tools. In many ways, the Unimog was like the Swiss Army knife on wheels. And of course, as I always say, if you have any history, any experience of driving a Unimog or working on them as a mechanic or whatnot, please drop a comment in the comment section. Tell us all about it. I drove one once. It was one of the very earlier ones. I know the gear change was a very peculiar gear change, and you did have to practically dislocate your elbow to try and get it into second gear. From what I remember, it was quite a long time ago. But yeah, that was my only run in with the Unimog. But yeah, fascinating machine. So yeah, if you have any history, drop a comment in the comment section and get the conversation going. So as the years went on, the Unimog evolved into a larger and more powerful machines. The original small agricultural models eventually developed into that famous 411 series during the 1950s. But Mercedes-Benz realized customers wanted even more and more capability. This led to the introduction of the 406 series in 1962, one of the most important Unimog generations ever built. The 406 used stronger truck diesel engines, and they had laid the foundation for what became known as the medium series Unimogs. These models became hugely popular in agriculture, forestry, municipal work and in industry. So around the same time, Mercedes-Benz also introduced the Unimog S series, designed primarily for military use. And like earlier models that were closer to tractors, the Unimog S was developed more of a true off-road truck. It became widely used in armies all around the world and helped cement the Unimog's reputation for toughness and reliability. Over the decades, the Unimog found its way into almost every environment imaginable. It has served in jungles, deserts, mountains and Arctic conditions. Fire brigades used them to reach remote wildfires. Utility companies used them for maintaining power lines and railways. Municipal authorities fitted them with snowplows and road maintenance equipment. Explorers converted them into expedition campers capable of crossing continents. The Unimog also became famous in motorsport. Its incredible off-road performance made it highly competitive in truck trials and events like the Dakar Rally. Few vehicles can match a Unimog once the terrain truly becomes extreme. One of the reasons the Unimog became so adaptable was its ability to carry tools and attachments. Many versions became equipped with front and rear mounting points, hydraulic systems, PTO shafts. This meant one vehicle could perform dozens of different jobs throughout the year. During winter months, the Unimog might clear snow from roads. In spring, it could mow roadside grass. In summer, it might carry construction equipment. Forestry, it could operate winches and saws. That flexibility made it incredibly attractive for government, contractors and large farmers. In 1973, Mercedes-Benz introduced another interesting vehicle related, of course, to the Unimog, called the Mercedes-Benz MB-trac, which we have spoken about before. This machine borrowed much of the Unimog's driveline technology, but was designed more like a conventional agricultural tractor. The MB-trac became popular with farmers, but production ended in 1991. Meanwhile, the Unimog itself continued evolving. During the 1970s, the heavier series models appeared with the now famous angular cab design that many people still associate with the vehicle today. These larger machines offered more power, bigger payloads, and even greater off-road performance. Over time, Mercedes-Benz refined the range into two main categories. One focused on implement carriers for municipal and industrial work, while others focused on highly mobile off-road transport vehicles. Modern Unimogs are still built today and remain highly specialised machines. Current models include the medium series implement carriers and the heavy series extreme off-road versions. They continue to serve in military roles, emergency services, forestry, rail maintenance and expedition travel. Although the Unimog looks like a truck, it does have limitations. Its flexible chassis and suspension are designed for off-road movement rather than carrying extreme heavy loads. A conventional truck will usually carry more weight more efficiently on normal roads, but when the terrain becomes difficult, the Unimog enters into a class of its own. The cab design also evolved significantly throughout the years. The earliest Unimogs had no enclosed cabs at all, and it was normal for agricultural machines, that in the 1940s, it was completely normal. Later, enclosed cabs were supplied by Westfalia before Mercedes-Benz eventually developed its own factory-built design. Modern Unimogs feature high visibility cabs designed to give operators excellent views when working with attachments or driving off-road. One particularly clever feature on some newer models is the ability to switch between left and right-hand drive. This is extremely useful for roadside maintenance work, allowing the operator to sit on whichever side provides the best visibility. Today, the Unimog remains one of the most respected specialist vehicles in the world. It is not the fastest truck, it's not the biggest tractor, or the cheapest machine either, but it is unmatched versatility and has given it a cult following among farmers, engineers, overlanders and military enthusiasts alike. Few vehicles have emerged to stay in continuous production for so many decades while still remaining true to that original concept. From its beginnings as a post-World War agricultural tool to its role today as a globally recognised extreme terrain work vehicle, the Unimog stands as one of the most innovative utility machines ever created, and I don't think anybody could disagree with that. If you like the video, please drop a comment in the comment section. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up, share it with somebody that you think might enjoy it. But for now, thanks a million for watching, and I will be back next week. Take care.